do so, because, you know, they tend to want to cut people down. And when they're young and they've got that success, and I think they're just jealous of the fact that he's gone so far. And of course, the best is yet to come.
Indeed. And unfortunately, we'll have to stop there, but we shall take a break and there'll be lots more chat after this break. Hello, welcome back. The main news this morning, the former Prime Minister Edward Heath is waiting for confirmation on how many hostages are to be released after his talks yesterday with Saddam Hussein.
Welcome back. We're talking to Jason and Terry Donovan, father and son. Good morning to you both. You're very protective of your son, aren't you? But you must be aware that what's happened to Jason, in a way, is very cruel. Things that happened in the first 20 years of his life have been trotted out, dug up, and it's a frightening thing, isn't it? That's frightening.
Well, this is my 30th year in show business, and I've enjoyed it a great deal. But through my years, there's been a lot of problems. I've seen a lot of skullduggery happening in the business. I've seen people being misused and abused and taken advantage of, and as soon as Jason got into the business, I made sure that people weren't going to do that to him.
But you have to stand on your own 2 feet. It's great to have a protective father. But the drugs thing, where presumably an old friend of yours, was the story, accused you of partaking in drugs. Was that just a guy trying to make a quick buck? Is that the story there?
Well, I mean, you know, without sort of going into to boring details, because I find it very boring, really. This particular guy who I'd worked with in the past, we'd done some personal appearances, I suppose, which is in Australia. And, you know, this, at the particular time, this particular person was offering reasonable money for what we were doing. And I guess now, as he's sort of seen in the papers, he's obviously sort of very low for money. And we believe that there was a substantial amount of money offered as inducement to sort of create some sort of story up. And, you know, I've got friends back in Australia who I've spoken to recently who've been approached by various people in regards to this particular subject and been offered an enormous amount of money to say anything, you know, whether it's true or false. So, I mean, you know, there's only sort of so much you can keep control over, I think.
I think it's sad, isn't it, that we have to talk about these things, but does it lead you to the thought that the sooner you make your life simpler and maybe sooner rather than later get back to acting and acting alone, maybe that's the route for sanity for you?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the fact is that I want to do both, and I enjoy. I mean, we were just chatting before. The pop music is a little more volatile, I guess, than acting, in the sense that, as an actor, you can build a career and a group of people around you work with you. As a pop singer, you are Jason, and that's it. You know, you stand alone, I guess, on in those sort of terms.
We all know that the phrase tall poppy syndrome, you know, the taller you get, the more they want to cut you down. There must be moments for both of you. I mean, you watching your son's progress when you close the door and you think, I should have been a gardener, should have done something else, should have sold cars.
Yeah, yeah, there's moments like that. I mean, there's moments I just sort of wish I could, I guess, pack it all up and grab a surfboard and see you later, guys. You'll never see me again. But you know, I sort of, it's what you put into this life, I think, which we all sort of discover at one point in time, is what you get out of it. And you can sit around and do nothing for 10 years, but that'll satisfy you for 10 years, and you'll suddenly have to wake up and think, well, where do I start now? So I thought, well, I might as well start while I'm young and just see what happens from there, I suppose.
Yes. I remember when I offered to be your manager.
Yeah, that's right.
In a very reasonable deal.
It was
50-50, wasn't it?
That's reasonable. That's extremely reasonable.
I assume that you're going to be rich. I mean, are you rich? Have you, despite the lack of my management, are you rich?
I've done well out of this, yeah. But I mean,
multi-millionaire. Are you a multi-millionaire?
No, I'm not a multi-millionaire. But I mean, I've.
He's wincing. Here's an actor who's
tell me. I'm dying to know.
No, I mean, I've done well, but it's not the money that I'm in it for. You know, I don't think about that. You're the one that's laughing. He's the one that's got the smile on his face.
But we've always felt that if you try to have something in life to work for, a goal to work for, and Jason has had this and he's gone for it, then the money will come anyway.
Yeah.
If you start worrying about the damn money, then you'll lose sight of the very things that you yourself are trying to achieve. And that's what Jason's done, and I admire him so much for it.
Terry, we've done the chat. Shall we have a bit of song?
What, for me?
Shall we do that? No, not for you. I nearly said God forbid, but that would have been rude.
No.
Yeah. Your new single, I'm Doing Fine?
Doing Fine, yeah. It's
And it's a sort of pastiche of the Beatles, isn't it?
yeah, a bit of pastiche, but it's sort of like, you know, bit of
Powerful.
yeah.
It's Jason,
something different.
It's Jason Donovan 1, 2, 3 and 4, I think we'll see about me on the video.
Yes, yeah.
There we are.
Different version.
Jason with I'm Doing Fine.
4 Jason Donovans there for the price of 1, not bad, eh? More from Jason and his dad Terry later on in the programme.
What about,
And we do a lot.
stress? Do you suffer from stress?
No, I think if you exercise, if I run and I sweat and I really feel better in myself after I finish. I play tennis and I swim quite a lot, and I find that pulls the stress away from me in many ways. If you're really stressful and you go out for a big long run, I find that at the end of it I feel darn sight better, and I feel better in myself. I don't think probably I'm going to live any longer, but I feel better for it.
What about fat? Jason, do you eat fat? Are you guilty of eating fat?
Yeah, I am actually.
Do you eat
guilty.
cheese?
And it was funny as she was saying about, you know, Britain. I mean, having come from Australia, I do notice that the British tend to eat a lot more fatty, like breakfast, for example.
We just had.
Here is incredible. I mean, the fried bread, we don't sort of do fried bread at home, but here, traditional sort of English breakfast, you get 2 eggs and baked beans, and it's like, you know. But it's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
You get fatties on Australian beaches. You don't get Florida fatties, Florida-sized fatties, but you get fatties.
They're fat.
Yeah. Your father is going like this.
Oh, lovely.
Your father's like that. Now, what about that?
Yes, well, I'm guilty of that. But I find that if I want to enjoy my life and I want to do the things I want to do, then I think I've got to exercise to enjoy them.
I think you can, but I think you can, like, you can do those sort of things if you can counteract.
Do you drink?
No, I'm not a drinker. No.
Do you smoke?
I mean, I occasionally have a.
Do you smoke?
Beer. No, don't. I used to.
Do you eat
used to
cheese?
smoke. I ate not much cheese, but I ate a
It's
beer.
a healthy man, this. Isn't it?
Yeah, I try to
Yeah.
keep some.
You know, one of the interesting things is that if you come from a country where they eat very little fat and come to a country like ours, your cholesterol goes up.
Yeah.
Really, straight away.
All the time. So get it tested.
Our cholesterol's shooting up because we've got to take a break. You see, we're under terrific time stress. Just briefly. Do relax out there, though. We'll take a quick break.